Hey everyone, Gregory Douglas, the Creative Advisor here. Creative advice for working musicians to fast-track their careers. And welcome to our first music interview spotlight. Today I have the privilege of chatting with a personal indie hero of mine, Miss Edie Carey, who is as brilliant of a singer-songwriter as she is a businesswoman. Edie has been working as a full-time performing songwriter for over a decade now, and touring rigorously to promote her 7 independently released albums. She's truly an indie model success story in today's music industry, and she's here to let us in on her own experiences today. You and I have known each other for over a decade now, and you've truly been an indie mentor to me. Oh. You're in the corner of my computer here, that's why I keep looking over here now. You are a remarkable singer-songwriter with 7 full-length independently released albums under your belt. You have built a devoted fan base for yourself over the years that has even funded many of your recordings. So can you talk about your relationship with your fans and what that has been like for you?
That's really, I think, been the heart of why I've done this. I mean, I think that, yes, I love to sing and I love to play, but ultimately, I know I could never be the kind of songwriter that writes songs for the sake of writing songs and is never interested in performing them, and is happy to pass them off to another person to perform them. I think that's an incredible skill unto itself. But for me, a song doesn't feel complete, or the circle doesn't feel complete until I've been able to play it for people and look at the audience and see that someone is really receiving the song in the way that I want them to, or not that I want to make people cry, but you kind of want to make people cry. I mean, like, that's when you know you've done your job, or that you've touched something in them. Like, that's the ultimate goal. So I think that kind of relationship with people, like you play the show, and when somebody comes up to you afterwards and says, you know, such and such song touched me because I just lost my father, or I'm struggling with letting go of my child as she's heading off to college, or, you know, I'm in a relationship that I know is going nowhere and I can't seem to get out of it. So Hollywood Ending is helping me kind of deal with that, or like that kind of connection, and that people feel comfortable coming up and telling me that stuff, and I get to like give them a hug and feel that true connection. It's sort of, I don't know, it just is like, that's the best part. I feel so lucky that people feel comfortable talking to me that way and building relationships with people. You know, if I go back to Milwaukee twice a year, there's people who always come to those shows, and I know about their kids and I know about their dog, and I maybe have played at their wedding, or they played my music at the birth of their child, and I've gotten to know them through these, like, the 10 or 12, 13 years I've been doing this. That kind of connection is what makes people care about you, and you care about them, and you build this sort of amazing web across the country that, like, no matter what city you're in, you're always going to have some kind of home to go to. And I'm so grateful for that. And it's so fun. I mean, I do so many house concerts, and which really has financially allowed me to continue doing this. But, you know, those relationships, I think, build, like, if you do a house concert at someone's house and their friend comes and they're like, oh, I have a living room just like this, and I have a whole other circle of friends that you can come play for. I think that those genuine, authentic, really fun connections then ended up naturally breeding those new connections, and then it just kind of builds from there. So yeah, I mean, I think my fans have been amazing. And so then when I do put the call out to them, when I'm like, well, I need to make a new record, and I don't happen to have $25,000 lying around, amazingly, they're willing to help do that. And I'm really grateful for that. And I answer every single email that I get. And sometimes it takes me forever to write someone back, and they're so gracious and understanding about that. But I can't imagine writing someone, and I just can't imagine not writing back. And I know so many people don't do that, and I really, really believe in that. I think that's hugely important. And I know if I wrote somebody whose music I admired, I'd want a response. And so often I've written people and I haven't ever heard back, and makes you feel a little icky about it. You know, when they do write you back, you're like, you're the best person. You know? Like, thank you for, like, they become like a human being that you can connect with. You know what I mean? I mean, literally and figuratively. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's right, and maybe that's energy I should be putting elsewhere, but I don't care. I'd rather have good relationships with people and reach fewer of them, but have more quality. You know what I mean?
Well, that certainly translates with you, and I think that's important to point out because, there is so much authenticity behind that. I mean, the way I view it, it's really another passion of yours and something that I've been starting to talk about. You're really figuring out your desires and then basing your actions on those desires. And so that really, to me, seems like a desire action for you. You are choosing to spend more time on that because that's what you're passionate about and it's what you believe in, and it translates, and you have fostered one of the most dedicated of fan bases because of that.
Thank you.
And people trust that, and people aren't stupid, so they know if you're not being sincere. And when you are,
they know. They totally they know. I don't know. I think you're right. It's interesting you say that because I never really thought about the fact that like the connection with people is almost in many ways as much of a passion as the music and the writing and the singing is. I never really thought of it. I always thought of it as sort of a byproduct, but actually I think it's sort of side by side. I think that's really true. You're so smart.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah.
Get your butts on over to ediecarey.com for all things Edie Carey and show her your love by signing her mailing list because it's very important. Check out all the goods, including her latest music video for Love, which was produced by Mary Haverstick and Michelle Mercure at Haverstick Films. Shout out to some friends of mine. If you happen to be in Mexico this April, you can see Edie live April 7th through the 14th at the Sweet Hard Rock Vallarta in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Did I say all that right?
I think it's Puerto Vallarta.
Wow.
I only know that
I'll leave it to you.
Of the Love Boat, because they went to Puerto Vallarta a lot.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I do have to say, I love the thought that I might be able to go to an Edie Carey show wearing a sombrero, like it ain't no thing, right? That can happen. Is that going to happen?
Yeah, in Puerto Vallarta, anything can happen. It'd be amazing.
Of course, be sure to friend Edie Carey on Facebook, follow her on Twitter, and fall in love with her music at places like iTunes, cdbaby.com, and Pandora, to name a few.
You're amazing. I will be touring in the Netherlands in May for 2 weeks, which is new and different. I've never toured in Europe besides the UK, so I'm really excited for that. So anybody who happens to be watching who lives in Holland, I'll be there in May. And lots of little shows around the US up until then. So and if anybody wants to hold Luca while I'm singing, I'd be really grateful. Email me. Thank you so much for doing this. I so appreciate it.
Thank you. I just, so honored to have you here, and it's a privilege to call you a friend after all these years. And,
likewise. I can't believe I met you when you were 18 years old. How is that possible? We were just tiny little chickens. So.
Well, thanks again. So great to see you.
You too, honey. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Okay, you too.
Okay.
Indie Music School is coming up. Want to step up your music career? For more info and free training, go to thecreativeadvisor.com/Indie Music School.